Hello class and welcome here as we are going into week 5, module 5 of our course content here in our summer semester for microeconomics. Just a few things here that I want to discuss before we actually get into some of the content that we're going to be engaging in this week. So make sure that you do this right here, the mid-course checks. Okay, you're going to do one for McGraw-Hill for the Connect, and then of course another big course check for the Canvas-based course only. Make sure that you submit these by Tuesday, okay? Whenever you are viewing this video, I have the due date of July the 9th. I just want to put on record that if you happen to not submit it by July the 9th, I'm not going to penalize you, okay? Just make sure that you get it done at least towards the end of the course week this week as we conclude Module 5. So just a reminder here, for the mid-course check, this is not really so much an assignment, but what it is just a confirmation that modules 1 through 4 have been completed within this course, and that you have completed modules 1 through 4. Believe it or not, class, we have turned the halfway point. Now we're looking at the second half point of this course, and we're going to be wrapping up here in about another 3 weeks with this course. So keep in mind to submit the mid-course checks again. I do have the due date of July the 9th that's coming up this Tuesday. However, if you happen to submit it on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, I just want to let you know that I will give you the 1 point that's earned for submitting the course checks, and I will not penalize you for it. Moving on here. Okay, I want to talk about the Zoom meeting. I said there was a few things here that we had to discuss. So, of course, if you go to the announcements, you'll see that the Zoom meeting is going to be this Thursday, my Zoom availability. This Thursday, July the 11th, from 5 to 6:30 p.m., I will be available on Zoom. And if you happen to click on the announcement here, you'll see the Zoom link as I've provided that for all the previous Zoom availability meetings that we've had in the previous modules. So click on this link. I will be in the meeting room. This is not mandatory. I want to let everybody know that, but it's informative. If you have any questions to ask pertaining to the course, if you need help or assistance with any of the content, I will be available this Thursday this Thursday, July the 11th, from 5 to 6:30 to assist you with your needs. Also, another thing that I want to remind everybody about, and I have to bring this forward, and I'm going to mention this a few times. If you notice that back on July the 2nd, I made an announcement here regarding late work, missing work from previous modules. So, I need to rephrase this, and I cannot emphasize this enough, that as we go into Module 7, everybody, Module 7, that will be starting the week of July the 22nd. All missing assignments and activity content will remain a 0 if they have not been submitted. So, what I mean is modules 1 through 5, because of course module 6, I will be grading module 6 content as we go into the beginning week of module 7. So I will emphasize that again, and I will probably adjust this announcement so that's in writing and everybody knows precisely what I mean and what I'm talking about. Modules 1 through 5. Once we hit July the 22nd, if you submit anything content-wise, it will remain a 0. I will not accept it. I just want to let you know that. Reason being, this is an 8-week course, and as we go into Module 7, we'll be a week away from completing the course. As Module 8, will be the sole concentration and emphasis of that week will be completing the final exam. Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. And of course, I'm going to continue to revisit this over the next 2 weeks. You'll hear me talk about this again, and I will bring it to everybody's attention regarding due dates when it comes to missing work and assignments. If you want to discuss that further, what you can do is you can actually log into the Zoom meeting on Thursday, this Thursday, starting at 5 o'clock. If you have any questions or concerns, if you happen to be behind, but the best thing policy-wise that you can do is, if you know you're behind, is you can reach out to me and send me a direct message in the Canvas system. You can do that right now directly through Canvas. You can send me a direct message. I can set up a one-on-one Zoom meeting. It's left up to you. Okay? So keep all that in mind, everybody. Let's move on here, okay? As you know, Module 5 has been made available for everyone. Module 5 was opened up. That was this past Thursday at midnight. And I hope that everybody enjoyed their holiday, enjoyed the 4th of July, and that you're ready to get back to work, okay? Let's be enthusiastic about this. So in Module 5 here, we're going to talk about labor markets. We're going to talk about market conditions. We're going to talk about failures. When we think about labor markets, okay, we think about minimum wages, we think about hourly wages, and we also think about salaries, annual salaries, okay? And we know that with an annual salary, you can work an excess amount of numbers on a weekly basis. You can work anywhere from 40 maybe to 60 or 65 hours. But because you are salary, unless there is a bonus incentive that's connected to that salary, you're not going to make more than what your salary is annually. So let's say if you're making $70,000 a year, you can put in an average of 40 to 60 hours a week. And of course, your salary without any bonus incentives is going to be $60,000 a year. There is no overtime that's actually attached to annual salaries when you think about it. Unless there's some sort of term or condition of employment that the employer happens to add within the employee's contract or terms and agreements of hire. I know that I'm kind of getting more into employment law or labor law, things pertaining to that matter. But just to kind of emphasize and elaborate a little bit the difference between the annual salary, and then you have the hourly wage, and then you have minimum wage. So here's the big question, okay, regarding market conditions. Think about this, okay? What conditions can you think of? All right, and it could be a variety. It could be environmental. It could be political. Of course, okay, we're focusing on economics, but of course, when we think about economics, we do embark a little bit, okay, on what happens to be political that can impact the economy, as well as even environmental can have some impacts in terms of our economy. So I want you to think about the labor markets. I want you to think about, for example, COVID. We're in a post-COVID era right now with the pandemic. How did COVID, for example, have a major impact 4 years ago when it first hit the global continent? Think about that. Now, I know, of course, that this is not macroeconomics, all right, but there were a lot of global impacts and there were a lot of global disembarkments that occurred when COVID hit and how that affected the labor markets. So think about that. Think about how that impacted jobs. Think about the different industries and sectors, because we also do further elaborate on different industries and sectors when it comes to the type of labor that a person happens to perform for either an hourly wage or it could be an annual salary. Think about inflation as well. As we know, we've been dealing with inflation for the last year. And even though it hasn't exceeded further regarding the inflation rate, it has moderated somewhat. We're still dealing with high prices straight down the board. For example, if you go to the gas pump, you see that the prices happen to fluctuate at the gas pumps. Okay, the grocery stores, okay, your produce and your meats and your dairies, things pertaining to that matter, which you normally purchase at the grocery store, those as well, okay, have fluctuated in terms of prices. Car sales. I can even go further, okay, because the real estate market does have a major implication on the economy. So however the real estate market is doing, how it's performing, does reflect on an economy when it comes to a nation's GDP. That's a gross domestic product, because we have to break that down and we have to look at the different factors of production that are pertaining to the GDP. So the real estate market, we know that housing prices are still through the roof. It's still advantageous for a seller to list their house or properties on the market, and it favors the seller. And especially when you think about how different contingencies within a real estate deal are being waived. Like, for example, no inspections, no appraisals, things pertaining to that matter. So I want everybody to think about different market conditions, and I want you to apply yourself with this and think about how the economy, how post-COVID, how that era and pandemic has affected your job and your industry as being someone who happens to be engaging within the labor force. So let me just get back down here with the expectations of Module 5 and what's going to be due. So your activities are always wrapped up into your pre-assessments in terms of what you're going to be completing. So your discussion threads, the Smart Book activities, along with the pre-quiz. First things that are going to be due, towards the ending part of the week. So July 12th, for example, you're going to turn in you're going to make your discussion thread post, your initial post, and you're going to reply back to at least one of your peers. That's due on July the 12th. That's going to be on Friday. Take the pre-quiz by Friday as well. And then also your Smart Book activity will be due on Thursday, and that's your practice activity when it comes to the graphing and plotting, because with market conditions and market rates, we are going to be graphing and plotting like we have done with the previous modules with some of the other terms and definitions that we've actually engaged in this course. And so you're going to use the midpoint, of course, when it comes to the graphing and the plotting again. And that's going to be wrapped up in your assignments that are going to be due next Sunday night, July 14th. So you have two assignments. You have your written assignment, of course, and then you have your Connect assignment, referencing market failures and different resources. That's going to be due on Sunday night. And then finally, you will take the post test as well. That will be due as well next Sunday night, July the 14th. And then remember now, all Connect content is graded automatically. You take the pre-test, you take the post-test, you turn in the Connect assignment, points are automatically entered in. I manually grade the written assignments that are Canvas-based only. So, for example, your written assignment, that's going to be due Sunday night, and then also I do go in to the discussion threads, and I'll make a comment on the topic that we're engaging in for the week, but then I also manually enter in those points as well and reward you for participating in our discussion thread. Okay, everyone. Module 6 will be available. You will have that available coming up this Thursday. That's when that content will be unlocked and will be made available for anyone that endeavors to work ahead. Just a reminder again, this Thursday from 5 to 6:30, that will be July the 11th, I will have my Zoom availability meeting if you have any questions or any concerns. Everyone, continue to enjoy your Sunday. If you're viewing this on Sunday, if you happen to be viewing this on Monday, have a great beginning of the week. And I'll be talking to you soon.